guys, so today I thought I'd do a sort of tag. I had some really cool stuff planned to do today, but for various reasons I can't do them anymore. So I felt a bit upset, so I came, I've just come on a walk to just get away from everything. So I've got the questions on my phone, it's just a matter of finding somewhere. So hopefully I'll find some nice places to sit and actually answer the questions. It's really sunny today in England. It's not normally sunny at all. Tomorrow it's meant to be torrential rain, so making the most of the sunshine, although I have just realised I'm not wearing any sun cream, so by the end of this I'll probably be bright red, completely burnt. So I found a blog online with all the different questions on it. So the first question on there is, how long have you been goth? I do think that was really a moment, like a defining moment in my life when I became goth. I wouldn't even really class myself as goth now. I'm more of like a Halloween enthusiast. Sorry, I'm just walking through mud right now. But I guess when I was younger I knew that there was definitely something I didn't really like about conventional things. I always preferred the sort of, I guess you could call them darker kids cartoons like Mona the Vampire and Funny Bones. I watched a lot of sort of vampire-y based things, and I did really like the horror aspect of things, but it wasn't until probably about 5 years ago I actually started incorporating more kind of horror aspects into my wardrobe, I guess you could call it. I've always really loved Halloween, but my parents are super against it. They hate everything about it because they think it's so Americanized. But I just love the fact that it's so sort of creepy and spooky and things. So I guess probably once I left school and I had the freedom to actually dress how I wanted to, and actually as well the money to buy things that I really liked the look of. That was probably sort of the underlying moment when I'd say I kind of transitioned into goth. I can actually see sort of through photographs and things how I think I was always kind of aiming for it as the final look, but I never kind of wanted to go the whole way. I didn't want to commit to it. I think it was a lot of to do with peer pressure and things. I was very bullied when I was younger, so dressing differently did not help the whole situation. I remember sort of going into, I think it was like New Look or something, when I was probably around 12, and I bought this ring and it was like a hand holding an eyeball. And I remember thinking it was absolutely hilarious, like I loved it, I wanted to wear it all the time. And everyone I showed it to just hated it. They were like, oh, this is so gross. So I think then I knew that there was going to be something different, but I wasn't quite sure. I think probably when I was at college was the easiest time to actually live sort of a goth lifestyle. Now that I'm actually working, it's a lot harder just because most, you know, like 5/7 of the week I have to dress very sort of conservative. I can't wear anything that will possibly offend or scare the children who I work with. At the moment it's quite hard, and I need to actually make sure that when it does come to the weekend I do actually make an effort to dress up, because recently I have just been wearing my work clothes like all week, and it's just quite I think it's quite upsetting when I'm buying all these clothes and things but I never actually get a chance to wear them. At the moment I'm on holiday, so it's a lot easier. I don't need to worry about having to take my piercings out every single day or anything like that. In September I will be going to university, and although obviously for the placements I do I'll have to dress a little bit more smarter, during the normal sort of term time I don't think they mind too much what you wear. So I'm kind of looking forward to the next 3 years being able to kind of go back to how I was when I was in college. So the next question on the blog that I'm looking at is who introduced you, or what introduced you into goth? I guess I kind of answered this in my first question, but it was kind of just I kind of introduced myself into it, I guess. I slowly just developed into it. There was not really a transition. I think something that really helped me sort of in my baby bat days was Tumblr, because although my sisters were both kind of alternative, they weren't really goth, they don't really like the same things I do. It was more, I think it was more the fact that they dyed their hair and got tattoos and piercings and things, and it kind of made me realise that it was okay to do that. And so at school I was friends with this really, really lovely girl. Her family were all very accepting, and she one day told me I needed to go on this site called Tumblr, and I think going on Tumblr like straight away opened up my eyes to actually, I think Tumblr allowed me to find and realise that people actually do dress the way that I wanted to dress. I wasn't the only one. As you can see, I kind of live in a part of England which is in the middle of nowhere, so there's not anyone really like me around here. So it was quite reassuring to find out that I wasn't the only one, and there was this whole subculture attached to this lifestyle that I wanted to live. Definitely, as I said, being at college, I had freedom, I got a job, I had money. I also was able to meet other people. So I went to college in Alton, which is quite a large town, and I met quite a few gothic and alternative people, and I think that kind of, it was great, because for once in my life I had a kind of group of acceptance. And then I met my boyfriend, and he's quite alternative, and I think from there I just felt comfortable just dressing how I wanted to dress and listening to the kind of music I wanted to listen to, just enjoying the kind of darker side of life, I guess. So the next question is, what subgenre do I put myself into? I don't really think I fit into a subgenre. I know that's very sort of common for a lot of people. I really do love the whole like Victorian goth style. I feel like I definitely wouldn't have enough money to convert my whole wardrobe into that kind of thing. And as I don't really class myself as goth, I find it very hard to put myself into a specific category. But I just really do love kind of Halloween and horror and things like that. I think kind of that mixed with music is the thing which kind of inspires me and act and do the things I do and love the things I love. Ooh, horseshoe. Good luck. It's kind of linking in with the whole category thing. I do really love sort of spirituality and white witches and things like that. I just love that side of life. I love the idea of embracing nature and appreciating it, because we do live in such a beautiful world, but I think especially people who live in the middle of the towns don't really get to see this side of the world. And I think it's so important for you as a person to have time by yourself, just with no technology. Like right now I don't have any phone signal or internet or anything, and it's quite nice just being away from it all. I grew up in a really religious family as well, so at the moment it's more me trying to find what I believe in, but I do really love the idea behind paganism and things like that. Butterfly. Butterfly. Ooh. Bye-bye. So the next question, I found a nice little place to sit. The next question is, what do you believe is the foundation of the gothic subculture? I think this is a really tricky question for me. I know a lot of people would answer this with music. I completely understand where they mean. I believe that is also a foundation of it, but I think there are a lot of things that go into it. Me, I do listen to some gothic music, but it's not sort of my favourite genre. I have had bands which I've liked since my early teens and I still listen to now, which definitely do not fit into the gothic subculture, but I think it's very important to be yourself. I think it's very easy to get too swept up into the whole gothic label and feel like you need to follow everything that everyone deems as what goths should do. So I think that for me, I have the right level to, for me, I feel like as long as I respect the foundation of goth and understand that that is what a lot of people believe is really important, and I respect that, I think that that makes it okay for me to actually just listen to the music which I like and be true to myself rather than just listening to something that I may not like as much as other things just due to the fact that it is what is deemed as correct. Which way to go? Probably not that way. From what I remember, a lot of this is wild garlic because it smells so strong. I feel sorry for any vampire that walks into these woods. So the next question is, what do I dislike about being goth? I think it's probably first impressions, people's first impressions of me, especially kind of with jobs and whatnot. I think people are very judging, which can really jeopardize my future even, just because some people have these misconceptions of what goth is and what it means. I personally haven't had any sort of problems with people being mean or sort of heckling me or anything like that in the streets. I think where I live, everyone is very polite, and although people probably think all these horrible things, they never actually say them out loud. I have been called a witch once, but to be honest, that's more of a compliment than an insult. So I guess, yeah, it's more this kind of preconceived thing, and also the fact that sometimes, like for a lot of jobs I've had, nearly all of them, I've had to completely change the way I look. I've had to take out all my piercings. Some of them I even got fired because of my hair colour. I mean, it's not really that extreme. And I feel like in England we're very much back a few centuries. I think people forget that it is the 21st century and it is actually acceptable now to dye your hair and have piercings and have tattoos. It doesn't mean that you've been to prison or anything like that, but still it's not classed as professional. I personally, I just take it out and get on with it, but I know a lot of my friends who are gothic and alternative, they have refused to take out their piercings and refused to wear a wig or dye their hair, and they've just stayed unemployed, and they've just never got a job. They've completely been unemployed the whole time. And for me, I'd much just rather for 6 hours a day, just maybe tone it down a bit, and then at the end of it you get paid and you can go home and buy more nice clothes, and then you still have the weekends and things. So to me it's not too much of a big deal, but I guess it is something I really do dislike about the whole gothic subculture. I'm gonna attempt to sit on here. Hang on. Maybe not. So the next question is, what do your parents think? I think that at first they were very against it. They thought it was some kind of devil worship thing. I think they also typically thought I was just going through a phase, although over the past couple of years they've kind of come to accept it, and I've definitely noticed in kind of like the gifts they give me and the things that they kind of point out and show me, that they definitely are starting to understand the kind of things I like. And although I'm pretty sure they'd completely prefer me just to be very conservative and still have my lovely blonde hair and dress in lovely pink dresses, I think that they are just happy that I'm still here. As I said, at school I had a really rough time and I felt like I couldn't work out what identity I wanted and who I wanted to be, so I think they're probably just, though I'm not their ideal, I'm still very academic, which is very important for my family, so I think they'd rather me maybe not look the way they want but still be achieving in life the way that they kind of brought me up to be, rather than looking all nice and proper but not having any kind of education. As I said, I'm going to university and they're really pleased with that. They're really proud of me for that, because at one point I definitely was on a downward spiral and I just kind of, I think I'd pretty much given up. I mean, especially in the 21st century, it's so hard for kind of teenagers, especially at this kind of period of life when you're deciding what to do for the rest of your life, and especially when you're slightly alternative and different, you do have to take that into account as well, because you want a job that is going to allow you to be able to live kind of the right lifestyle. without you having to completely change yourself just for your career. My makeup's probably gone everywhere because my eyes are watering from the sun. Saying that though, another thing that my parents do dislike is they hate kind of modifications. They hate piercings, they hate tattoos, and I don't think any amount or any persuasion or any more knowledge of the whole subject, I don't think they ever really understand. When I was younger, it did take a lot, and I mean a lot of convincing to get anything done. Now, because I'm a bit older, I can just go get it done and then be like, ta-da! So I think definitely it's something which is changing. The older I get, the easier it is getting for me and my parents, and our relationship's pretty good, so I mean, I don't really ask for much more than that. Next question is eyebrows or no eyebrows. Because I am blonde, you can't actually see my eyebrows. So when I was younger, I decided just to pluck them all out and go for the no eyebrow look at all. But I didn't quite understand that it was the norm to kind of draw them on after you'd pluck them out. So for quite a while, I looked a little bit like an alien, which wasn't an awful look, but especially for my face shape, I feel like I need some form of eyebrow. It was probably over a year I was eyebrowless. In the past year and a half, I've been growing back my eyebrows. Pretty pleased with the outcome, but they are a bit all over the place. They're very patchy and things, so I still do have to fill them in a lot. And I also found this kind of like reddy brown. It is an eyeshadow, but I put it in my eyebrows, and I feel like it kind of looks naturalish, so I kind of go with that. I do totally love the look of drawn-on eyebrows with some people, but I feel like you have to be very talented and have had a lot of practice to achieve that really nice outcome. And I feel like for me, every day, I mean, my eyeliner is hard enough to do. So the last question on the blog is, how were your baby bat days? I think mine were quite lonely, I guess. I went through a lot of things by myself, which potentially I could have had a lot of support with. I didn't kind of watch nice. I didn't watch YouTube or anything like that. I didn't kind of realise that there were people who were similar to me, and I guess finding out that I wasn't the only one definitely made things a lot easier. My boots are completely ruined. I feel like I need to put them through the washing machine to even come close for them to look as they did when I actually started this walk. Thank you for watching this weird video I did. I know it's slightly different to all my normal videos, but I had kind of planned to do a sort of like follow me around vlog kind of thing, so I feel like this is kind of a good test as to whether or not I'm any good at it. Hopefully I will get to do the plans which I'd hoped to. Hopefully I will get to go to the places I'd hoped to go to today at some point in the next couple of weeks, as I have got a couple of weeks off work. So I will hopefully bring you along to that as well. Thank you for watching, and hopefully next time I see you I'll actually be in the civilization of my own room rather than lent up against a nice old tree. From the looks of it, I haven't got too sunburnt today, but I can guarantee you as soon as I get inside I will be a different shade of red. So thank you for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them below, and I will see you next time. Bye!